Hey yo, I am back with another video. And before I start today's video, I would request you guys to watch this video at 2 times the speed so that it saves all of your time and you can enjoy it. And also subscribe to my channel. I've got very few subscribers. I want to get to 2,000 subscribers. And without any further ado, let us today talk about UFC 304, which is going to take place in Manchester, England. And we have got a good main card, at least on paper. Anthony Smith would be proud of it. The greatest fighter of all time on paper. So I'm not going to talk about the entire fight card because Modestas, Bokaskas, Marcin Persinos, Sean Abern, I have no idea who these people are. Call me a casual. I do not have anything against you. But I don't know any of this fighter. And there is no point of me just making assumptions about who is going to win among them. So I will start by talking from the prelims. Okay, Kaula Logram versus Jake Hadley. I think I saw Jake Hadley fight once. He fights at flyweight, but this is he going to make his bantamweight debut? I don't know. Okay, he's bad. He lost to Charles Johnson. He lost to Cody Durden. Still, they're going to give him another fight. Maybe they want to see another Irish prospect in UFC, and we all know the Irish, uh, the most successful fighter in the history of UFC. If we talk about monetary success and talk about being the notorious, infamous Conor McGregor. Angel Pacheco, he lost to Tyler Lepilas. Okay, that was in UFC decision. So maybe the UFC is trying to push another Irish fighter, which is, of course, the UFC will do that because of Conor McGregor. So who do I think is going to win between these two? Colin Logram. Colin, how do you spell his name? How do you pronounce his name? I know how to spell it, but how do you pronounce his name? Colin Logren. Okay. Versus Jake Hadley. I think Colin Logren is going to win this fight because this is going to take place in bantamweight, and he seems to be someone who's been fighting in bantamweight. Probably, I don't know much about him, and he has lost only once in his entire career. That it was against Taylor Lapillus, and I don't know much about this guy either, but he lost to Farid Basharat. Farid Basharat is a good fighter. He's the brother of Javier Basharat, I believe. And he is 5'6", 68-inch reach. I think he's going to win this fight. And he teams at where? Where does he team at? Terrain at. Okay, I don't know. And Jake Hadley, his record, he's on a 2-fight losing streak. And he's... So I'm going to go with Colin Logram. I'm not going to spend a lot of time doing research. Molly McCannon versus Bruno Brazil. I have no idea about Bruno Brazil. I have never seen her fight. She lost to Luma Lukubumi. I mean, she's on a 1-fight losing streak. She lost her last fight. Molly McCannon versus Bruno Brazil. Molly McCannon in UK against Bruno Brazil. I have no idea about Bruno Brazil. I'm going to say Molly McCannon wins this fight. Molly McCannon. I think she will win this fight because this is going to take place in UK. She is going to have this, her family, her friends, her fans. They're all going to support her. I think she wins this fight. She is a better grappler than her. I have no idea. So I'm going to just go with Molly McCannon just out of assumption. I don't take this seriously. I have no idea about these two. Okay, Nathaniel Ud versus Daniel Pineda. Nathaniel Ud, I saw him a lot on YouTube. His name is The Prospect, and he lost to Muhammad Naimov. He won against Alex Caceres. He won against Andre Fili. He won against Charles Jourdain. Charles Jourdain is good. Charles Rosa. I have no idea who this fighter is. Casey Kenny. He lost to Casey Kenny. I think this was in bantamweight division. Then he decided to. He lost to John Dodson. John Dodson. Which when was it? It was in 2020. Yes, it was in 2020. I think John Dodson left UFC after that. He's probably in PFL right now. I have no idea. Against Daniel Pineda. Daniel Pineda has had more fights. He has had what? 28, 38, 43. So he has had 43 fights. No, 33 fights. No, he has had 43 fights. Yes, 43. He is 38 years old and he has had 43 fights. His record is crazy, 28 wins and 15 losses. That's a weird record, to be honest. Like, you got to respect him. He's been in the game for a very, very, very long time. It seems like 43 fights is no joke. He lost to Alex Caceres last. MMA match do not make a lot of sense, but I'm going to go with Nathaniel Wood by unanimous decision because again the fight is taking place in UK. He is also from UK, so he's going to have that hometown advantage. He's But of course, he might also have pressure. But I'm going to go with Nathaniel Wood because Daniel Pineda did not, like, with that record, he does not seem like a very great fighter. And also, he is 38 years old. How old is Nathaniel Wood? I believe he is. How old is he? He's 30, so he is in his prime, to be honest. So I'm going to go with Nathaniel Wood by a unanimous decision. Now, this fight is this is a good fight. This is a good fight because we got Muhammad Mokaev, one of the upcoming prospects. I would say an undefeated prospect from UK. Also, he's from Dagestan. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure where he is from, but I know he's from. He's living in UK and he represents the UK flag. And Manel Cup, he's from Portugal. Manel Cup is a Chad. He is known for saying certain words against Kaikara France, and even the dude almost had a fight with Izzy. I mean, you got to respect him. The man has guts. He has guts. He won't back down. But it'll be interesting to see Mohamed Mackay versus Manel Cup. This will be. See, I'm going to go with Mohamed Mackay by a split decision, by a controversial split decision. People will be unhappy with his performance, but he will win this fight by taking Manel Kape to the ground a lot. He'll probably win by doing that. Not exactly taking him down a lot, but he will probably do enough to win the fight. And the fans and the media and everyone will think, hey, he did not do well. Mokaev is not good enough, but he will probably win that fight just he'll do enough. Like, he'll win by a split decision. That is my prediction. Manel Kape is a better striker. I don't know overall if he is a good fighter because the grappling of Manel Cup, I don't know much about his grappling, to be very honest. I saw him fight with Kaikara France last. No. He fought against a Brazilian kid, right? He fought against a Brazilian. Yeah, he fought against Felipe dos Santos, which was a late replacement because Kaikara France got injured. Then he fought against Felipe dos Santos, which was in 2023. So he hasn't fought for almost 8 months. 12, not 2. Was it? Yeah, probably around 10 to 11 months. He hasn't fought in like 10 months. So I'm going to go with Mohamed Mokaev by a controversial split decision wrestling victory. Like, he's going to wrestle Manel Kape, and that is how grappling and wrestling is going to be what I feel Mohamed Mokaev will do in this fight. I think Mokaev, this is my prediction. Arlen Allen versus Giga Chikadze. My man Giga Chikadze got a groin tear while he was training in the gym where he was in his fight camp. The Georgian, I think we all thought that Giga Chikadze would be the first Georgian champion, but I don't think he's going to be the first. I mean, of course, we got Ilia Topuria. Ilia Topuria is, of course, he's from Spain at this point of time, but he's Georgian. And we also got Merab Dvalishvili fighting in UFC for the belt next, I believe. He's going to fight with Sean O'Malley. But Giga Chikadze was one of the best strikers in the UFC. He's still, I think, one of the best strikers in UFC. But he's 35 years old and he has had a lot of injuries, a lot of hold up. He has had a lot of break in his career. I think that takes a toll on you. His last fight was against Alex Caceres. That was in 2023. It's been a year that he hasn't fought. And prior to that, he fought against Calvin Kattar in 2022. So for how long was it? He took a break of, he almost took a break of 18 months. Then now again, he's coming back after 11 months. So this will be an interesting fight. He was supposed to fight with Josh Emmett. Alex Caceres gave him a tough fight. I mean, this fight was supposed to be one-sided for Giga Chikadze, but Alex Caceres gave him a fight. But I think Arnold Allen is a better fighter than Alex Caceres. But if Arnold Allen wants to win this fight, he needs to take the fight to the ground. If he decides to strike with Giga Chikadze, I think Giga Chikadze will have a better chance at winning a striking matchup against Arnold Allen. Arnold Allen had the same problem with Max Holloway, but Max Holloway is way ahead of Giga Chikadze. Max is definitely a better fighter than Giga Chikadze. But for now, I'm going to pick Arnold Allen if he decides to follow a game plan, if he decides to stay in the inside, make it a dirty fight, take the fight to the ground, uh, involve, utilizes grappling and wrestling a lot in this fight. I think he can win this fight by a unanimous decision. I'm hoping Arnold Allen does that because on paper, if you talk about skill for skill, if you talk about mixed martial arts, Arnold Allen is a better mixed martial artist and Giga Chikadze is a better striker. You have to give it to him. The dude knocked out Edson Barboza. So I'm going to go with Arnold Allen by a dominant unanimous decision. So that is my prediction. Christian Leroy Duncan versus Gregory Rodriguez. I have seen Gregory Rodriguez in UFC, but I have never seen him fight live because he always fights in the undercard and he always fights in fight nights where you do not really pay a lot of attention to him. I at least did not pay a lot of attention to him, and he's only 32 years old. He looks like he's 38, at least 38. I don't know what he was eating, but he looks a lot older. He's he fought in the Contender Series, and I think his nickname is the Robocop. Yes, he is. I don't know why they call him the Robocop. Maybe there is some good story, but Christian Leroy Duncan versus Gregory Rodriguez. I'm going to pick Gregory Rodriguez to win this fight because Christian Leroy Duncan, he does not seem like a. I think he's already. Who did he lose to? He lost to Armand Petrosian. Armand Petrosian is not a great fighter. He won against Denis Tululian and Claudio Ribeiro. So he was on a really good fight winning streak. Then he lost to Armand Petrosian. So there is a chance that he might bounce back and win this fight. I don't know much about this gentleman. I do not know much about him, so there is no point. And Gregory Rodriguez, again, I don't know much about him either. So he's also on a. He also defeated Denis Tululian and he defeated Brett Tavares. So Brett Tavares, when you defeat Brett Tavares, people kind of take notice of you. So I'm going to go with Gregory Rodriguez by a third round finish or maybe a unanimous. I don't think he's going to get a decision win against Christian Leroy Duncan in UK, but he might still get one. So I'm going to go with Gregory Rodriguez, the Robocop, by a third round finish. Okay. Yeah, Robocop by a third round finish. Now we are talking about a big game. Main card, Paddy Pimblett, Paddy the Fatty, whatever you want to call him. He's going to fight against Bobby King Green. Now, Bobby King Green, I'm going to go with Paddy Pimblett. I got to go with Paddy the Paddy. The reason I say that is because Paddy Pimblett has better grappling than Bobby Green. And Paddy Pimblett is 29 years old. Bobby Green is 39 years old or probably 40 years old at this point of time. He's 37, almost 40. But Bobby Green has fought a lot in his entire career. And I think in his last fight, he lost to somebody, right? I can be mistaken, but he did lose to someone in his last fight. No, he won against Jim Miller. And he lost to Jalen Turner. That Jalen Turner fight was bad, dude. That was bad. He took some really bad damage in that fight. But the reason I say Paddy Pimblett is going to win this fight because Paddy Pimblett is a predominantly grappling, like he likes to grapple a bit more than striking. And we all know Paddy Pimblett is a better grappler than Bobby Green, that's for sure. Paddy is also bigger than Bobby Green. We need to take that all into account because size do make a difference, at least when you're fighting in the lightweight division. Paddy is much bigger. I think he's like 5'10". He's one of the bigger lightweights. He's not a small guy. And if he takes the fight to the ground, Bobby Green is not exactly a defensive grappler. He did grapple against Tony Ferguson and he did submit Tony Ferguson, but Tony Ferguson is in a really, really weird position. I don't know what is going on with him mentally. Because Tony Ferguson got submitted by Bobby Green and Nate Diaz, and he went 3 rounds against Paddy the Paddy. So a weird person at this point of time. He lost to Drew Dober. He lost to Makachev. I mean, of course, he's not going to win against Makachev. Not in any, not in this world. So I'm going to go with Paddy Pimblett by a second round victory. I say a second round submission. I'm going to go with Paddy the Paddy by a second round submission. Maybe a RNC or something like that. Yes, Paddy the Paddy. Now, the co-main event. This fight is going to be really interesting because we've got someone in the heavyweight division fighting. Because John Jones is not going to fight. I think he's just going to retire silently, depending on what happens. And he recently also had another police incidents. He's always getting into trouble with the law. So that is not exactly a good thing for John Jones. But he's John Jones. That's what makes him John Jones. Getting in trouble with law. Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blaydes. Curtis is 33 33, Tom is 31. So their age is, they're both literally in their prime. They're just entering their prime. If we talk about the heavyweight division, they're just entering their prime. Tom is 6'5", Curtis is 6'4", 78 inches, 80 inches of reach, elevation, fight team. I think he fights at the Snake Pit, right? He's a heavy favorite, minus 400, and Curtis Blaydes is a 310, 310, 310 moderate underdog. In their last fight, Curtis Blaydes won that fight because Tom Aspinall had an injury. I kind of tried to watch that fight, but I did not, because there's no point of watching a fight where the other fighter gets injured, one fighter gets injured, and the fight just stops. If you look at their fighting style, Tom Aspinall is a more complete fighter, and Curtis Blaydes, his biggest weapon in a fight is his pressure, his wrestling. But he can be taken down because Curtis Blaydes was struggling against Jayton Almeida. And Jayton Almeida is not a wrestler. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighter. And again, not a great Jiu-Jitsu fighter either. Like, of course, by heavyweight standards, he's like GOAT. Like, if you talk about heavyweight grapplers, he's got probably the only one who submits people. But Curtis Blaydes, it'll be interesting to see if Curtis Blaydes can win in a high pressure situation, because he always loses a high pressure. He always loses a fight when the fight is in a high pressure situation. So that is what is interesting about Curtis Blaydes. If you talk about striking, Tom Aspinall is a better striker. Curtis Blaydes has good boxing. I don't know if he has good boxing, but he gets knocked out a lot. Tom Aspinall, I don't know if he has been knocked out. I don't know much about his record at this point. He's 14-3. He has lost 3 fights, but he lost to Curtis Blaydes. And again, that loss, I don't know much about it. But what he did to Sergey Pavlovich, like, he was really quick in that fight. So in this fight, it will be interesting to see what Tom Aspinall does. I think he wins this fight by probably a 3rd round or a 2nd round TKO. I don't know, maybe a 2nd round TKO. But I don't know if any of his matches have ever been out of this first round. I don't think so. Round 1, round 1, round 1, round 1, round 1. I think all his UFC fights have been round 1 and round 2. Okay, he did go to 2nd round with Andrei Arlovsky. So I'm going to go with another 2nd round finish for Tom Aspinall. I think he's going to win this fight because after his fight against Sergey Pavlovich, I think he's going to be more confident. And after that injury against Curtis Blaydes, he came back. After he came back, he defeated Marcin Tybura in the very first round, knocked him out. And the same goes for Sergey Pavlovich. He was not supposed to win that fight. Everybody was picking against him because we all thought that he's not going to win. He was behaving in a certain way. We thought that he was not confident enough, but he came and he smoked Sergey. He smoked him. And he has power. Let us be very honest. If you knock out Pavlovich like that, he has power. So I'm going to go with Tom Aspinall in this fight. I think he wins this fight by maybe a 2nd round TKO. That is what I think. Now the main event. This is going to be this is supposed to be the most competitive fight in the entire fight card, but we don't think this is going to be an entertaining fight because both of them has like really bad finishing rate in UFC. I don't know how many finishes they both have. Let's just look at Rocky's finishing record. Like, he has had how many finish? How many finish does he have? Probably 1. Like, he probably has 7 wins or TKOs, 3 wins, decision wins. He has 11 wins by decision. Yes, 11 wins by decision in his entire fight career. And I don't know, he last lost to Kamaru Usman. Prior to that, he lost to Claudius Silva and Delroy McDowell. That was a loss by illegal knee. So he has lost only twice in his entire career. That is Leon we are talking about. I think Leon, in the striking exchanges, Leon is going to do good. He hits hard. He hits really quick. He's really quick. He's really fast. People don't understand how, like, he does not look like he's that fast, but he is fast and he hits hard. His leg kicks are hard. He has really good distance control. His distance management is definitely going to be better than Belal. And if you talk about grappling, Belal is a good grappler, but how good is he? How good is his grappling? Because in his last fight, he did not need to use his grappling against Gilbert Burns. And he's also 36 years old. I think this is going to be his last shot at the title. If he wins this, this is a good. But if he loses this, I don't think they're going to give him a title shot. He's already 36 and he already had to fight God knows how many matches. He definitely deserves that fight. Like, I'm happy for the fact that he's at least getting an opportunity to fight for the belt finally. Look at his record, man. The dude is on a crazy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's on a 9-fight winning streak. He lost to Jeff Neal. Jeff Neal knocked him out, I believe. No, he lost by a decision against Jeff Neal. There was like a different Jack Neal, I believe. He won against Sean Brady, finished him, I believe. Then he went on a decision against Vicente Luque, went on a decision against Gilbert Burns. I think he should have finished Gilbert Burns, but Gilbert Burns is not easy to finish. There was a 5 round war. Not exactly a war. He had a very dominant performance by him. So if we talk about grappling, I don't know. I think he's going to have Habib in his corner. I'm not sure about it. Maybe he will. It'll be interesting to see what game plan he has against Leon, because Leon is definitely the better striker. And Leon is much, much better striker than Gilbert Burns. His last fight with Gilbert Burns was probably last year. Yes, he hasn't fought for a year, more than a year. The same thing goes for Leon. When did Leon last fight? It'll be interesting. I don't remember because his last fight was against Kamaru, right? No, his last fight was against Kobe Covington. Okay, Leon last fought against Kobe Covington. That was in December last year. So he has been fought for like what 6 7 months. So his last fight was actually later than Belal's last fight. Leon has become a better grappler. He has become a better defensive grappler. So it will not be the easiest thing for Belal to take Leon down. Belal was a much bigger fighter than both Vicente Luque, and I don't know about Vicente Luque, but Belal was definitely the bigger fighter compared to Gilbert Burns. On the other hand, I don't think he is going to be physically bigger than Leon Edwards, because Leon Edwards is pretty tall. I think he's like what 6'2". Yes, he's 6'2". He's definitely going to be as big as Belal, if not bigger. And he has been grappling a lot in his last 3 4 fights because he lost. He grappled against Kobe Covington. He did get taken down by Kobe Covington in the very last round. Probably that is the only round Kobe won. But I don't think Belal has that style of wrestling like Kobe, because Belal pressures you, but his wrestling entries are not as good as Kobe. So I'm going to pick. I just want to pick Belal just for the shock value. If Belal wins, that would be a really weird pick for me. I'll be the only one picking Belal. But I think Leon wins this fight by a unanimous decision in UK, because this is going to take place in UK. This will be a split decision win for Belal, split decision win for Leon Edwards, in my opinion. Maybe a split decision win for Belal. I think whoever wins this fight, this will be a split decision win. And I think this is going to be a boring fight, because both of them are known to have boring fights. Their last fights were really boring. Leon's last fight with Kobe was really boring. Belal's last fight with Gilbert Burns was not exactly that boring, but it was pretty boring. Belal has finished Sean Brady. That was a good finish, but I don't know if he's going to be able to finish Leon Edwards. It'll be interesting. Whatever, because he is going to have Habib in his corner. And Leon is also in his prime. Leon is 32. Belal is 36. I'm going to go with Leon Edwards by a split decision against Belal Muhammad. I mean, that is going to be my pick. So I'm going to repeat all my predictions once again. All of this stuff, I don't care. This guy's a heavyweight. Interesting. Heavyweight prospect. He looks like a better fighter. Who knows? And he wins fights by unanimous decision in heavyweight division. Interesting. I'll take a look at this fight, maybe. But I think he's going to win against Lucas Brzezinski. Okay. Colin Logren. I picked Colin Logren against Jack Hadley. Molly McCannon versus Bruno Brazil. Molly McCannon by a unanimous decision. Nathaniel Wood versus Daniel Pineda. Again, Nathaniel Wood by a dominant unanimous decision. Muhammad Mokaev versus Manel Kape. I'm going to go with Muhammad Mokaev by a controversial split decision against Manel Kape. Arnold Allen versus Giga Chikadze. I'm going to pick Arnold Allen by a good, dominant, unanimous decision against Giga Chikadze. Maybe a 2-3 or maybe a 3-0 against Giga Chikadze. Christian Leroy Duncan versus Gregory Rodriguez. I'll say Gregory Rodriguez by a 3rd round finish. Bobby Green versus Paddy Pimblett. I say Paddy Pimblett by a 2nd round submission. Or maybe a 1st round submission. Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blaydes. I'll say Tom Aspinall by a 2nd round TKO. And Tom Aspinall, I think he will win this fight by 2nd round TKO. I think that is what he's going to win by. Leon Edwards versus Belal Muhammad. I think Leon Edwards by a split decision against Belal. I think he will win this by a split decision, maybe a 3-2. I think the first 3 or 4 rounds, I think Leon will win the first 3 to 4 rounds, 3 rounds, and Belal will probably win the win the championship rounds, or who knows, maybe Leon will just come back and knock him out with a head kick. That can happen as well. So yeah, that's my prediction. There goes my prediction for UFC 305. And if you guys enjoyed the video, then please drop a like and share this video with your friends who enjoy watching UFC, and definitely subscribe to my channel. I've got very few subscribers. And peace out.